Hey guys, OG Albina bringing you guys my UPBA Season 1 Week 2 battle against ZayneGoose and his Arizona Diamondboks. I almost said Diamondbacks, oops. But yeah, if you guys are excited for the vid, be sure to, like all that stuff if you do enjoy. And subscribe so you can catch our games as they go every week. But yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right into the video. We unfortunately did, spoilers, lose our Week 1 game in a close 1-0 to JV Westside. So this week we're definitely looking to bounce back. This is a very important game. 1-1 looks a lot better than 0-2. So definitely a big game. That being said, Zayne has a very, very scary team, which is, as you can see on your screen, Zygarde 50, Mega Sizzle, Rabombi, Alolan Muck, Manaphy, Chestnut, Uxie, Thundurus Incarnate, Rhydon, Rapidash, Shiinotic, with these users being Zygarde 50%, Rapidash, and Shiinotic. Biggest threats to my team right off the bat are definitely going to be the Zygarde 50, the Mega Scizor, the Thundurus, and the Manaphy, though it is not Z Manaphy, which makes it a lot easier to deal with. It is still definitely scary, but it has no way of boosting speed versus my team, so if I get a little bit of chip off on that thing, our faster threats can, still revenge it, and we do have ways of checking just, regular 3 attacks, Tail Glow or something like that. So I'm not too scared about Manaphy. The other 3 I definitely am, as you'll see in the prep. Our team, if you did totally forgot to mention it, consists of the Aegislash, Megalade, Suicune, Sylveon, Decidueye, Diggersby, Aerodactyl, Hydreigon, Garbodor, and Combuskin, with our Z users being Decidueye and Hydreigon. So yeah, with that being said, let's just jump into our first one, which is going to be our Hydreigon right here, rocking out with the Dragonian Z, Levitate, Draco Meteor, Flamethrower, Dark Pulse, Defog, 76 HP, 196 special attack, and 236 speed with a timid nature. So this Hydreigon is a kind of a necessary mon. We need to have Defog this week because we lose if Wets go up. We need the speed on our mons later on, like our Blade, Spoiler Ring, and our Diggersby. Or his team just becomes so much scarier. We don't deal with that Zygarde very well at all if it is, it doesn't even need a Dragon Dance to outspeed our stuff. So having that option of Defog is great to have, and even if webs are up, having something that can outspeed the Zygarde at neutral is super important in all honesty, because the thing is, like I said, very scary. That is what we're creeping with our 236 speed and the timid nature. The 196 special attack is in order to KO a Manaphy with a Z Draco after rocks, which I totally didn't realize this until the game came. We actually ended up not being able to fit rocks on this build as well, spoilers. But still, the 76 HP still does give us, a decent amount of bulk, just taking hits better, like Ice Beams from Manaphy and stuff like that. If we take a little bit of chip prior, Bullet Punches from Scizor, stuff like that. Speaking of Scizor, that's why we have Flamethrower. Also, we hit the Rabombi on a switch if he gets cheeky and wants to switch in hard on us, something like that. But yeah, that's going to be our Hydreigon. Has a really good offensive matchup. Defensively, it's not great, but it can outspeed a lot of threats and throw off a big hit or two. Next up, we have our Megalade, Inner Focus ability, Close Combat, Ice Punch, Sword Dance, and X Scissor, 76 HP, 252 attack, and 180 speed with a Jolly Nature. So this one's honestly definitely our win con this week. His team does not take it on very well at all. The best thing he really has for it is going to be that Uxie, which is why we're running X Scissor over Knockoff, because I honestly think like Colbert, Uxie will come, like Foul Player, something like that. If we can get a little bit of chip, X Scissor still kills a +2, which is super nice. We outspeed the entirety of his team minus the Rabombi, and I'm not too scared about the Rabombi when I have things like Aegislash on my team, and other things that just eat hits from it pretty well. If it comes out, I just think it'll just be a sash lead, get up webs and die kind of thing, which I can deal with pretty well. Other than Uxie, Close Combat and Ice Punch hit everything else on his team. Ice Punch is kind of necessary just to hit the Zygarde, because again, that thing is a huge threat. Also hits the Thundurus, which we can definitely either hit from and, knock it out with an Ice Punch, something like that. And we can force a lot of switches and definitely get up an SC on a thing or two. So yeah, that's going to be our Gallade this week. Next up, we have our Aegislash, rocking out with the Colbert Berry, King Shield, Shadow Ball, Iron Head, and Hidden Power Fired. Max HP, 124 defense, 112 def, and 20 speed with a relaxed nature. So this is going to be our Mega Scizor check with the Colbert Berry. We can always live a +2 knock into another +2 knock, just with our, the Colbert and the natural bulk, and Hidden Power Fire is doing a fat chunk of that thing. Otherwise, so this is our best way to kind of combat an SD Scizor. We're running Iron Head over something like Flash Cannon just to hit something like the Muck a little bit harder. as well as like a Quiver Dancer Rabombi if for some reason it gets up out of range of a a flash cannon. We can hit it with an Iron Head instead and do a huge chunk. Iron Head over Gyro Ball, obviously, because we want to hit the Muck and we're faster than the Muck, so Gyro isn't doing very much. That's with the 20 speed investment. Despite being a relaxed nature, with 20 speed investment, we can creep a Muck, kind of creeping a no speed Aegis Slash, basically. We're a couple points over where he would be if he was trying to just creep us there. Or we just outspeed a regular no speed Muck as well. So yeah, that is going to be our Aegis Slash very important member this week for things like the Rabombi, things like the Scizor. And next up we have a way to support that in our Sylveon, rocking out with the Berry, Pixelate, Hyper Voice, Hidden Power Fire, Wish, Protect, 244 HP, Max Defense, Force F, and 8 Speed. So this is very, very important to keep our Aegis Slash healthy, because I do imagine it getting chipped throughout the game. If we need to check both the Rabombi and the Scizor, one can kind of chip for the other and make that pretty scary. So passing Fat Wishes into that thing is obviously great for us. The Berry also makes us a pretty good check to Zygarde, in all honesty. Unless he's banned, he never 2-hit KOs us. We can live a +1 Z Iron Tail with our Berry and do a huge chunk with Hyper Voice. If he's weakened at all, we knock him out. And the Berry, really helps with like the Scizor or something like that. If we have it in range and he thinks he can SD on us, or he just wants to bullet punch us and pick us off or something like that, we can definitely live that and throw off a nice Hidden Power Fire. Yeah. So yeah, that's going to be our Sylveon. Check number 1 to Zygarde, and passes Fat Wishes into our Aegis Slash. So next up we have our Diggersby right here, rocking out the Choice Scarf, huge power ability, Frustration, Earthquake, U-Turn, Fire Punch, 4 HP, max attack, and max speed with an Adamant Nature. We do have to go max speed, unfortunately, this week, because with that in Choice Scarf, it allows us to outspeed things like the Rabombi, if he's running max speed Rabombi for some reason. Though I don't imagine he will, I just would rather not take that chance, because this lets us outspeed pretty much everything on his team, no matter what, barring other Scarfers. His team really does kind of struggle switching into Frustration plus Earthquake. He has a few pivots around it, but he does have to kind of make that gamble, like, oh, which one is he going to click? We also have Fire Punch for the Mega Scizor to hit that thing super effectively, because it could probably take take Earthquakes pretty well if he's, more Fizz Def or something like that. So if we can catch that thing with an Iron Punch, that'd be great. Whenever I record it, y'all like crazy. But yeah, that's going to be our Diggersby this week. Good speed control, stuff like that. And last we have Zygarde check number 2, which is going to be our Suicune, rocking out the Wakan Berry, Pressure ability, Scald, Toxic, Roar, and Ice Beam, 252 attack, 76 defense, and 180 speed with a bold nature. So this spread the speed allows us to outpace a max speed Chestnut, if he wants to go out an offensive Chestnut or something like that, which sounds kind of funny when I have things like an Aegis Slash, I guess. But actually, in one of my mocks, I ran into a banded Chestnut, and it put in a lot of work versus me. So I'd rather not just take that chance, having an Ice Beam to pick that thing off if it is a little weakened, because if it's offensive, it's not taking it as well. Or if he's like sub Belly Drum or something like that and just sub up on me, I can roar it out, something like that. So yeah, that's going to be our Suicune. Oh, so I skimmed over some other things. The defensive investment allows us to live 2 banded arrows from Zygarde, which is very, very clutch. It's probably going to be my initial switch into Zygarde, being that I can't live those 2 until I know whether or not it's like a setup set or if it is just straight banned. Because we take it on pretty well, and then this thing definitely does benefit from Sylveon as well, catching those wishes. We don't have lefties, we don't have rest or anything like that, so that will be very important. Wakan is to lure things like the Thundurus and knock it out with an Ice Beam, after a little bit of chip and rocks and stuff like that. Or like an HP Electric Manaphy, even though Energy Pulse 150% better. You never know. But yeah, that's going to be the team. Let's jump right into the battle. Alright guys, here we are with the battle. Quick note, if you guys hear a lot more in the back, I apologize. Dad decided it would be a great time to start mowing the lawn when I'm recording. So unfortunately I don't really have time to record this later, so I kind of have to bust it out now. But yeah, again, I apologize if you do hear that. I'll try and talk a little bit louder, just to hopefully speak over that. But yeah, hopefully that will be in the next video or anything like that. But yeah, going back to the game, it looks like our opponent elected to bring the Thundurus Incarnate, Manaphy, Mega Scizor, Zygarde, Uxie, and the Alolan Muck. Nothing too crazy on this build. I am happy to see Notre Bombi. While it wasn't great versus me, just the idea of sticky webs were very scary. This has me wishing I had boost on my Hydreigon now, which is something I definitely wanted to try and fit on it, but unfortunately I couldn't just because I thought I needed my 3 coverage with Zan Defog 100%. So unfortunately we weren't able to, fit that on the build. But nonetheless, it is good just to see that we don't have to deal with bugs. Being that there is no Rabombi, I kind of want to lead off my Hydreigon and kind of just really beat something down and do a lot of damage to something. His team doesn't really switch into a well other than the Muck, and if we can chip that thing down, it makes it great for Gallade, so we don't have to SG to knock it out. Makes it nicer for things like Aegislash, which doesn't appreciate Muck at all, trying to trap it, trying to knock off items, stuff like that. So yeah, that is going to be our lead of choice in this battle right here. Just throw some big hits because its usefulness isn't 100% like really needed now. It was really just here to defog and maybe nuke something with a Dragonium. As we're going to see right here that our opponent looks to lead off with the Thunderous. So he can't really knock us out in one hit unless he's fight, and if he wants to blow that turn 1, that makes our Diggersby a lot better because now he has to risk. He would then have to risk hitting the Focus Blast. As right here, you're just going to go for the U-turn, kind of tipping me off. He may be a Choice Scarf Thunderous, as he U-turns right out into his Scizor right here, as I like to just throw off my Dragonium turn 1. His Scizor was pre-Megaed, so it wasn't going to take it as well, and I figured maybe he'd want to go into the Muck, which would do a huge chunk to that thing. I believe, depending on his spread, Dragonium into Draco if he got his Berry had a huge chance to knock him out, and if he was AV, I believe he pretty much always did, and if he was AV, he's chipped for the rest of the game. So I'm going to throw off my Dragonium as we see that does a fat chunk to that Scizor right there. Bring it down below half, as he's going to switch out right here, scouting for the Flamethrower, I believe, which he does, and he goes into his Manaphy right here, as we do get that Flamethrower chip off. Not too much, but it does reveal that he's lefties, and pretty considerably bulky considering how he took that. But yeah, that's good information to know nonetheless, as right here, he's going to go straight for the Ice Beam. I believe we can live 1 Ice Beam from this range, as we do, so I figure this would be a good opportunity to get off Dark Pulse. In hindsight, I probably should have gone for Draco, but, I didn't want to potentially miss and not get any damage off. I figured the chip for this thing was nice, because this meant that he couldn't really set up on me the next turn with Tail Glow if he got cheeky, because it was in range of Draco. And he's in range of our Mega Gallade now, 100%. Even if he's like max HP, Mega Gallade's just too strong to really not knock that thing out. So yeah, down goes our Hydreigon, but it did put a pretty considerable dent in our opponent's team, which is very, very nice. As I'm going to send in my Mega Gallade, as I said, I always knock this thing out with close combat, based on damage that we had just seen. As right here, he is going to go into his Uxie. As I do throw off my Mega and just go straight for the close combat. I could have gone for the SD, potentially, predicting a switch or something like that, knowing that I could set up on the Manaphy and live any one hit, especially being that it wasn't +3. But this Uxie was most likely out of range of a X-Scissor, unless he wasn't running very much bulk at all. As we see that close combat kind of bounces off, but he's not leftovers, and this actually means that he is in range of a +2 X-Scissor, I believe now, or very, very close. We just need a little bit more chip, so not too worried about this thing anymore. As right here, the Uxie is going to go straight for a U-turn, predicting our switch out, as our Aegislash comes in right here. And then our opponent is going to U-turn out right into the Zygarde 50%, and this thing is a huge problem, but I still do have some very healthy checks to it in the back, so I'm not too worried at this point in the game. As I pull the switch out of my Aegislash because I still want it healthy, even though we can live with plus any arrows from this Zygarde besides Z, I figured that keeping Aegislash healthy is very important for things like the Scizor that's still on the back. But right here, he is going to go for the 1,000 arrows, just straight up attacking. As we see from this damage that he is definitely a choice banned Zygarde. No way he does that damage other than that, but we can live the next one, throw off a huge Ice Beam, pretty much make this thing pretty easy to revenge. As we see, it kills, and that's because you get a crit, which is very, very big. This puts us really far in the back. We would have gotten some great damage on this Zygarde at this point if we landed that Ice Beam. It wouldn't have been a big threat at all, honestly, because it just kind of was revenged by everything else on our team at that point. It was in range of every single attack. So that is very, very big and very unfortunate, but is the game we play. So unfortunately, it's just how it goes. As right here, I go into my Sylveon and throw off the Hyper Voices, goes into the Muck, as I am going to pull the switch out into, I believe, my Diggersby. Expecting maybe a Poison type move or a Curse or something like that, as our opponent does go for the Curse, which, you know, isn't too scary. We can definitely still knock this thing out with the Earthquake at this point. It definitely doesn't live, despite the +1. Diggersby is just too strong for that, especially being that we're adamant, and he is a little bit chipped from the prior Hyper Voice and stuff like that. As right here, our opponent's going to pull the switch out into the Uxie. In hindsight, I probably should have U-turned. There's no way he's really going to stay in on that, but I was so far in the back, I couldn't really make big, risky plays and stuff like that. As I go for the Earthquake, another just me playing tilted, I figured, oh, he's going to U-turn out or he's going to double out. I got to catch the switch or something like that. As he ends up going for the knockoff and knocking off our Choice Scarf, which is very, very annoying. But I am going to go, that just let me, you know, kind of switch up my moves, and now I can go for the U-turn as he pulls the switch into his Scizor, letting me go out into, I believe, my Aegislash right here, because that is our check for this monster. And yeah. So out comes Aegislash, and right here, I'm just going to throw off a Hidden Power Fire. Again, I'm so far in the back, there's no way I can really make any big plays or try and overplay, because if I get any of those plays wrong at this point, I'd probably just lose the game. We're already down 4-6. Things aren't looking great, as he does just elect to go straight for the Roost on our Aegislash. You know, trying to get out to a healthy amount of health, because he is pretty chipped. As right here, I am going to change my stance and go straight for a Hidden Power Fire. And you're going to see this actually is going to knock out the Scizor, which is great, because now our Aegislash isn't very pressured in this game to do this one job. He must not have been very Spadef, because most Scizors, you know, Spadef Scizor definitely would have looked that. But down goes the Sizz, which is nice. As right here, he goes back into the Zygarde, which is terrifying. And this is kind of where I talk about, you know, potentially getting that Ice Beam chip off would have been huge for us in this game. Because right here, I'm going to go for the shield, the King Shield. Get back into my formers right here, because it also scouts what move he wants to lock into, which is obviously going to be the arrows. There's no reason to lock into any other move. And then I'm going to elect to stay in this next turn and just get a little bit of chip off, because I need chip on this thing. I need to somehow damage it. And I'm going to stay in because I know I can live a banded arrows. I mean, essentially +1. But I know I can live that hit, and right here I am just going to go straight for the Shadow Ball and get a good amount of chip off. And based on this damage, this plus the Ice Beam earlier, he definitely would have been knocked out. He would have been gone 150%. So it really sucks, because this thing's still a huge menace. He's still very healthy. And it's able to knock out our Aegislash right here. So things are looking very dire for us at this point. Right here, I am going to go out into my Mega Gallade at this point. Threaten this thing out with an Ice Punch. Nothing really wants to switch in. This is kind of our only way of winning at this point, is going to be our Mega Gallade. As right here, he's going to pull the switch out into his Uxie. And this is another play. This is one where I definitely should ask you. I lived in arrows no matter what. I was scared, though, because arrows into a hit from the Thundy definitely knocked me out, and I need this thing healthy to where it can, you know, live a hit from the Thundy and knock it out with Ice Punch. So I go straight for the Ice Punch on the Uxie, and I get a little bit of chip, and I pull the switch out into my Diggersby as he goes straight for the Thunder Wave, which won't affect us because we're ground type, and I get a nice chunk off with the Frustration right there, showing us that we are faster without our Scarf. So he is a very, very, very bulky Uxie. Guess he could have definitely crapped us pretty easily. As right here, he's going to pull the switch out into his Zygarde, and we are in range of this thing. So this is another kill that the Zygarde got that it probably shouldn't have got if we, you know, weren't crit earlier in the game. And down goes our Diggersby. So it is, again, looking pretty rough as we pull this, the switch out into our Mega Gallade again, which is still healthy and can still potentially do this. If we can somehow find a way to get a Sword Stance off and not take any damage, we actually can totally win this game. As right here, he's going to sack off his Uxie. Again, really, really wishing I Sword Stance, but it's not something I could risk. In hindsight, I should know he should 100% save his Zygarde because he is so good against us at this point. As he's going to pull a switch into his Muck, and I can actually knock out the Muck from here with a close combat. So I probably should have, you know, thought like, hey, maybe he's trying to, you know, bait the defense drop or something like that. But again, didn't play this game very well. As we go straight for the close combat, and that still does a huge chunk. Despite a resist, it does 50% to that with Thunderous. But right here, we're going to see that it gives us a -1 in Spadef, so that does put us in range of like a potential T-Bolt or something like that. So I am going to switch out into my Sylveon. If he goes for the Sludge Wave, makes a very good play. But we can't eat that up pretty well just because Sylveon's natural bulk is insane. And I believe we can just go straight for the, I want to say we go for a wish, or do we go for a hyper voice at this point? Because again, my whole goal is to get in these, get in my Glade and hopefully get up a Sword Stance. As right here, we go for the hyper voice, yeah. And he, gets his berry back, so being that he was cursed, I assumed he was a gluttony set. You know, that's probably the best for that, other than, you know, poison touch, so you can get that nice recovery. But here I'm going to go for another hyper voice, trying to put him low enough to the point where he is in range of close combat, but out of range of a potential getting his berry back and getting back up to full. So I'm going to do that because I know I can live on poison jab for this range, and I throw up a wish hoping he would knock me out at this point, because this is really my only opportunity to get in my Glade for free and get up a Sword Stance. So I'm going to pull the switch out right here. As long as he doesn't poison me, I know I can eat the hit up and get straight back up to full, which is very, very nice, as right here he is going to go for the curse, which is unfortunate because he's actually out of range potentially of a close combat at this point. I was hoping he would just go out and attack me, but there really wasn't a reason to, because my Sylveon wasn't really threatening that thing long term. So I'm going to go for a close combat. It's a roll depending on his potential investment, but unfortunately we do not get the KO. As right here he is going to get his, I don't remember if it's Figgy or Iapop run, but same thing. Figgy, yeah. So he's going to get off a nice and big close combat, and at -1 that does a huge chunk to us because we're -1 and he's +1. So I am just going to go for another close combat at this point and at least help our differential a little bit. But we actually don't knock out the Muck right there, which sucks. So yeah, the Muck is going to take out our Mega Glade, unfortunately, and this game is, you know, pretty much all but over. He can just kind of... Oh, I forgot to take the Uxie off the layout. We didn't lose 5-0. But yeah, out comes the Sylveon right here. I'm just going to go for the Hyper Voice and Revenge this Muck. It is in range and stuff like that. He had no reason to switch out or anything otherwise. And down goes the Muck. So, at least helped our differential a little bit. I would have liked Glade to get the kill. But, you know, nonetheless, it doesn't really matter as he goes out into the still alive Zygarde. And throws off a nice 1,000 arrows just to, or extreme speed, same difference, just to finish us off. And yeah, down goes our Sylveon. I almost clicked on the wrong mon. So yeah, unfortunately that is going to be the game. We are going to drop the game to ZayneGoose 3-0. GG's to him. He definitely bought a very good team, played very well. He played a lot better than me. I will say that the crit on the Suicune was huge for us because we potentially knocked that thing out with our H/later in the game, and it didn't kill any of our other mons that it killed at that point in the game. So very unfortunate. We are going to start off the season 0-2, but hopefully we can bounce back next week and play Gray and his... I want to say it's like Los Angeles something. I totally forgot the team name, but it'll be in next week's video and be balanced. So be sure to sub so you can stick around and see that vid as it goes up as we hopefully bounce back and bring ourselves up to a 1-2 record and kind of make a comeback march on the rest of the season, because I definitely think we have the team to do very well in this season. Just some unfortunate circumstances have kind of been holding us back. Not only just the hacks, but, you know, just us not playing to our best ability. So we need to bounce back next week. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Later.